Joining me now is our very good friend, Matthew Buckley from the band Without Andrew. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
Getting there slowly, ups and downs, but
Yeah.
now it's been roughly 2 years since you was last in the studio with us. At that time, Monique had only just joined, let's say, the bandwagon, as
Yeah.
they say. And then, because I know you said 2020 was going to be very busy for Without Andrew. And then the pandemic arrived.
Yeah, that kind of shot us in the foot massively. We everything that we had planned that we wanted to do kind of fell apart. It was quite annoyingly, really. We had a really good start to the year with like playing Manchester, Newcastle, and Glasgow. Then we did a really strong showing about March, and then that was the last time we played together.
So then you started doing some live music through Instagram. I believe it was a good song. You were getting a very good reception week in, week out. What was that always? When this pandemic started, was that like an instant thought, thinking, right, I want to just let music carry on?
Yeah, it was kind of a. I think I started doing it. So we met about like April, so the month after the lockdown started, I was like, I'm gonna start doing it, and we got a really good reception. So I started doing them weekly, as you say. It was just kind of, I wanted something to do through it, and people really enjoyed it. And if it made people happy and people enjoyed it, then it was kind of the best of both worlds, really, just to kind of keep doing it.
And then came this EP, what you did on your own, basically, the Lockdown Acoustic.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that until you mentioned that. Yes, that was.
Did this come from doing the Instagram stuff?
Yeah, it did actually. We played the songs acoustically, and obviously because I was playing every week. After I was like having to find new songs to play, like maybe songs I hadn't touched in years almost, and I'd be like, because playing the same songs every single week for an hour was getting very boring. And then some of them were like, I was really enjoying doing them acoustically, like especially things like Burn Me Up. I was like, that was how it was written. So it was like, that'd be really good to revisit. And then, I just sat down and literally, I think I booked a day off work and I just did the whole thing in a day.
And then you released your latest, I will say the latest album. So just explain us about that album first.
Yeah, so I'll Drink to That was due to be released maybe in about this time last year. So it was going to be May. We were going to release it. We'd already released Find a Way, and then we released My Goth Girlfriend, I think. So we released those.
And then you released Smiley Face as well.
Yeah, what we were gonna do was we were gonna do those, and then the plan was to like tour in about June, July, and then the pandemic obviously happened and continued to happen, so we pushed it back, and we ended up pushing it back by about 6 months. So it got pushed back really far into the year, and I feel like that album struggled massively because of that. Also, like, I grew to be very bored of that album very quickly because we've been sitting on it for so long.
Yeah. So yeah, and with having Monique come in, fairly new and just basically throwing her right into the deep end on doing an album. How did she sort of find the process of the album making?
For I'll Drink to That?
Yes.
It was a weird one because when she joined, the songs were written, we just tracked the drums, and then we auditioned her about like a week after we did the drums.
Mm.
So she came in just to do some like guitar work and some like vocals and stuff. And it wasn't, we were very like making sure that as long as she was comfortable, she didn't want to like do too much of it because she wasn't a part of writing the songs. And it was fine. It was very much this, like the next album is where she really got stuck in with us.
And then, so this comes to this latest single you've released, No Way Out. As soon as you sent it across to me, I think the first thing I messaged you fairly quickly thinking, just saying, man, it's a bit expletive this, isn't it, for me?
Yes. There is definitely a lot of F-bombs in it.
So when you listen to it, you can definitely tell it's very political and very sort of aimed at sort of the government with the way they've sort of handled the pandemic and other bits and pieces. So just explain to us the process of No Way, because I know you remember telling me that when you was recording it, you were getting more and more sort of irate.
Yeah, it was kind of like the more I'd record it and then try and write lyrics, I just work myself up. So it was actually about 3 weeks ago last year that I started working on the song. I'd written all the music and I did the first verse, and it was very much around the time that we were having the NHS was first starting to really feel the pressure of the cases, and it was all clap for the NHS instead of actually doing something that could benefit them. And it was just the more like, and this is a negative side of like the pandemic, of how much more time I've spent on my phone, like scrolling through it, which we touch on the album. And I just like, you see people like either breaking the rules in ridiculous ways and making things worse. And it started all like culminate at how angry I got at like you say, how poorly the government handled it. And then also at how poorly people were acting when in conjunction with the rules. And it just all kind of came together. And I think that's what might make it such a good song for people, is just the amount of anger that was in it.
Yeah, that everybody will feel it at some point. Now, Monique, again, as we both know, she is one of these key workers who's working for the NHS. So how has she coped, really, through the last year?
She found it like tough. I've worked the whole way through the pandemic as well with it. So but I know like we both spoke about like how hard it was, and we often find ourselves just saying like, you know, we wish we could have got a break at some point, because it was like just constant at the wall, and you feel very stressed, and you can't see your friends, you can't do anything, you can't go out and let steam with people. So it's very there's a lot of people with experience being just locked in without a job. It's just very it's tiring, I think is the best way to put it. It's very draining and tiring.
So now this new album, obviously, from hearing this, it was written throughout the lockdown and about it as well. And I think I remember seeing on social media said Monique has had a lot of input to this album as well.
Yeah, definitely. It was written, I think the only song that predates it slightly is there's a song on it called Undivided, which the lyrics were written in February, so the month before it all started. And yeah, it's all been written through lockdown as we've gone. We've been doing like Zoom sessions on it, and then when we could get together very safely, we could. Monique was and has been like very involved with it. We'd like tracking on every song, helping write parts, even singing on it and stuff like that. She's done. We put out we kind of did it sneakily yesterday. We put out a new song, a new video just on Facebook that she sings. She was being very dedicated and very like head on with it. And it's been really good and fun and really interesting having her bring what she brings to the table, which is really good. She brought like a full instrumental piece that we turned into a song on the album, which is really cool to have that. To have like all three of us writing parts and stuff, it's really good.
So, what's the album title then?
The Great Divide, it's called.
And it's out later this month.
Yeah, the 14th of May.
So
in May? Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
so
we are.
Next Friday, it's released.
So, have you got any plans for, let's say, getting back out there, touring wise?
Well, we've just gigs are literally just starting to pick back up. So literally yesterday, I've been sending out a few messages to see what we can do. We might have a gig that I can't really say much about yet lined up.
You always pull this trick every time you've been in. Oh, we've got this, but we can't say it. We can't tell you.
No, yeah, it's not been announced yet, but hopefully that can go through. And then just when we feel it's safe, we need to get back together and start practicing. Obviously, Sam isn't with us anymore, so we need to just work out how we're going to navigate that. And then as soon as we feel ready, we're going to get out to gigging as safely and as much as we can.
And I will at some point manage to see you. I was supposed to try to see you, but then all this happened.
Yeah.
So, Matt, thanks for taking the time out to have a chat with us. And good luck on the new album. And obviously, we'll get you back in as soon as we can when we are allowed back in the studios.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's been great chatting, man. Appreciate it.